Hello, everybody out there. It's nice to hear from everyone. I have a lot to say today. A lot of things on the mind, a lot of things that we have to focus on. Um, Post-pandemic, what's going to happen here? There's a lot of things I think that we have to look at, a lot of things we have to try to figure out. NFTs, Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, where are they all going to fall into place? So many things have pushed us, have created our situation to move forward during the pandemic. And I know that you and I and everybody out there is really tired of Zoom calls. I mean, I am just done with the Zoom call situation. It's time for live events again. And that's going to happen. I think that's going to happen very soon. We're all getting, at least in the United States, as far as I can see, and all the news that I've been hearing. I already got my first shot, getting my second shot on the 27th of this month, which is April 2021. And I just think we should embrace this and not look back. I know that there are a lot of businesses out there that are or have created varying and much more entertaining virtual events where you could go through portals, you can go into different exhibit halls, you can create a exhibit spaces and rooms and talk to one another, etc. But I think it's time to get back to real live events, flesh events, in-person events. I know I'm tired of sitting here feeling like we're in a rock and stuck in a cave. It's time to get back to being somewhat normal again, I guess. But, albeit with CDC guidelines, masks, the whole thing, just so everybody feels comfortable. But to be honest with you, I think that there's nothing that is going to replace in-person events. And we got to get back to that. I think it's very important. I think that we're going to still have, obviously, things that are much more evolved in online now. The iGaming community has just seen a complete 360, and they're going to become much more popular in most states across the United States, which means a lot of business for companies like Bet365 and Betway and DraftKings and FanDuel and all these other places, which is good news for them. But I think that with more of vaccines being handed out, with much more of the pandemic coming to an end, we're going to see a lot more increase possibly in online play, but also increase in people going out. I think people are so tired of being indoors for so long. And I think that's where we're going. Anyway, I'm going to get to the news today. Some of the things I think that people should keep an eye on are obviously the iGaming community, the betting and the sports betting community, how that's evolving. But in the latest situations here we have here's an article called it's in the Esports Insider. Abios talks to Unibet about the future of esports betting. It's an article which you can find here in our magazine at CET Mag, and it basically talks about the esports market as the fastest growing sports vertical. I always hate that reference that esports is sports, because it's not really sports. It's much more of an interactive entertainment thing. But for the sake of the argument, let's just call it that what it is. With betting market following suit, the betting market for esports is expected to grow with a CRGA of 13.1% between 2020 and 2025, according to MarketWatch, showing great potential for future opportunities. Unibet has offered markets on esports since 2014 and has used Abios widgets to deliver an enhanced customer experience for punters. So I suppose this is the product that Unibet, which is a esports betting product obviously is definitely going to use this company called Abios, which is a part of their platform. Look, I mean, there's everything you hear in the news is, 90%, 90% something that like people can just speak off the cuff or look at the numbers or, look at evaluations. But, to be honest with you, I don't always believe in evaluations. And a lot of things should be investigated, and everyone should do due diligence. I always stress that. It's always important to look into what's behind the curtain. There is a lot behind the curtain that I think people don't seem to realize. So that's one, that's something in regards to esports betting. Obviously, this is the lowest hanging fruit for the casino industry, for the gambling industry, for the iGaming industry, esports betting. But where is the information about the P versus P, person versus person playing? There are platforms out there that are building this. Are they iGaming? Are they associated with the iGaming world? Absolutely not. They are immersed completely in the esports world. We have a very big disconnect in the casino world and the iGaming space. And I think, and I know that there's a lot of missed opportunities by the lack of the conversion of these two industries and the stubbornness of the publishers out there that don't want to engage in this type of thing. And I've always talked about this. I said that the publishers have an opportunity to build three types or three different versions of their game. One is for 18 and older. One is for the players that are professionals on esports, and one is for 18 and younger. And there can be all types of modifications done on three of those levels, but obviously the 18 and older can be much more attributed to lending that IP out or making money on that IP with cooperating gambling outfits. So where do we go from here? It's still very, very stable, very, as industries are very slow to move, very slow to adapt. But I believe that that's definitely coming. People have to believe that that's definitely coming. So what else is there in the news? I mean, if you want to talk more about the esports and where it's going in, where it's going in the gambling space, let's start there. So if you go back to another one here for the Esports Insider, another article about the data platform Grid is announcing a $10 million funding round. How much does a platform that collects data for esports, how much money do they actually need? $10 million is a lot of money, but I guess it's definitely going to help them. The esports data platform Grid has announced a $10 million Series A funding round with the NFL player Juju Smith-Schuster investing in the firm. Now, Juju Smith is very well presented by Rock Nation. Rock Nation is a company that brings a lot of these things. I'm not sure if that was one. I'm sure he has other people that represent him, but Rock Nation is one of them. Alongside with Schuster, Smith-Schuster's industry leaders behind this, which is Anelia Capital, Bumble Ventures, and Tar Heel Capital Pathfinder, took part in the firm's funding round, as well as leading investors in the gaming, iGaming, and tech industry. Bumble Ventures, I wonder if that's the woman the young 28-year-old who started the dating app Bumble. Not sure. The article goes on to talk about that, according to the release, that Grid's investment with Moritz Moyer being the CEO will be used to strengthen its U.S. expansion plans. The data platform first expanded its services in the U.S. last year. I see a lot of this talk. So all these companies coming over from Europe and Grid and Bet365 and Betway and Betfred, all these companies that are coming over from Europe to expand their businesses in the United States. I mean, pandemic-wise, I don't see how there could be. I know a lot of people are home, and a lot of people are betting at home. A lot of people are playing games at home. I mean, I'm not sure about this, but I mean, because of the pandemic, how much expendable income do people have? It's a question you have to ask yourself. I was recently asked a question about getting invested in Instacart. So some investor was selling shares of Instacart at $69 a share or something like that. And Instacart, as everybody knows here in the United States, I don't know about if you see this and you're from across the pond, but Instacart is a service that you put in your shopping list, and they go and they buy stuff at the supermarket for you, and they deliver it to your house. And early on in the pandemic, when people were too afraid to even walk outside because nobody knew anything, and to this day we've learned a lot more. But everyone, the medical, in my opinion, the medical community is still clueless. But my point is that moving forward, I think this company that this stock seller was asking me to invest in some stock, buy some stock for Instacart. If you're not, I mean, if you can't make sense of what's going on in the world, and that there's, Instacart is a company that's had its heyday at the peak of the pandemic. People didn't want to leave their homes, so they stayed home. So they had somebody else go out and get their food and everything else like this. But at the peak of the pandemic, of course, Instacart should be worth a lot. But if you look at what's going on, I mean, everyone's getting vaccinated. The rise in COVID cases are more for a younger audience rather than an older audience. So, younger kids are getting sick, but they can handle it. Sometimes they go into the hospital, but hopefully they get better. Listen, I mean, there's a lot of things out there right now that were really a pivot during the pandemic, and there's no reason that they shouldn't have existed. That they should, even CEC, the conference that we ran, we pivoted as well. We didn't want to do a Zoom call. We work with GamerJive. We set up they call whatever name. I mean, there's no other name to call it, but it was a virtual event, and it went well. Everybody liked it for months. I think we were the talk of the town, and it had its day, and it's good, and I think it's here to stay. There's no doubt about it. If you can't make it to an in-person event, there's no reason why you shouldn't use a company like GamerJive. Why you shouldn't use there was another company I just saw earlier. These three-dimensional and virtual events. But let me move on to just say that in an overall perfect world, I really believe that there's nothing better than in-person meetings. And I have to say that very soon, GameCon, which is my consumer conference about indie games and esports, etc., and all that stuff, we will be starting an event in live, in person, and it's going to be in late summer, early August. We will announce the official date soon. Trying to get this done. I mean, it's all about. I mean, I have more confidence now that if I set up something for a live event in 2-3 months from now, that it's going to happen. That there's going to be a lot of people there. I think that we are going to be moving into another realm, and I think this is the end of the pandemic. And a lot of people may not agree with me. A lot of people are still going to be scared. They're going to be skeptical. They're going to be, should I really go? I'm nervous. I don't know what to do. This, that, and the other thing. But I really think that there's going to be this is coming to an end. There's no doubt about it. And I think that what we saw in the pandemic taught us a lot. And that stuff is going to be here to stay. I don't think I'll ride on an airplane without a mask. I definitely don't think I'll do that. And I'll be completely vaccinated. But I'm gonna wear a mask. I just think if you're in close quarters with people, I think that should have been like that before the pandemic. So some of these things make sense, and we'll see what happens. But anyway, this is Ari Fox. This is the New Gaming News. This is the CET Magazine update. And I am happy to answer any questions. Anybody have any questions or anything that they'd like to ask? You can actually ask it later. I will answer them through our YouTube channel. But I look forward to meeting everybody eventually in person again. Albeit, maybe we got a little bit more gray than last time we saw each other, but I'll be happy to see you again. And if you're vaccinated, I can shake your hand. And if you're vaccinated, I can give you a hug. But it's going to be nice. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be the best thing, I think, that everyone's going to be like, wow, I really miss this. And you'll appreciate it. It's going to be great. I look forward to seeing everybody soon. And anyone that's interested that sees this podcast wants to come on. Let's talk about esports. Let's talk about gambling. Let's talk about what's going to happen in the gambling industry, iGaming industry, sports betting. Let's move it. Let's do something. Let's get it done. It's time to shine. Have a good day. Talk to you soon.